Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be making some little heart ornaments. So I have a tree that I put up every year. It's a metal tree and I hang birds and things like that off of it. And I want to add some really pretty hearts to go with it using my new rollers. So I got these rollers and we're just going to have some fun and see what we could come up with. So the first thing I did was I rolled my white Primo clay out to my third thickest setting. And I got 2 slabs here. So I'm going to use my deboss and emboss rollers. So first I'm just going to kind of lay them down and then start pressing and rolling. Okay. I got bunched up there, but that's okay because that's the area that I need. All right. Let me flip this over. So the first thing I want to do is just cut out, I'm actually going to do my smaller, my middle one here for this one. And I'm going to line up the bottom of my heart cutter with the heart here. And I want to do like a really nice antique style. So that's the first one. And then my second one is going to be the smaller one. And let's do that one. So very, very simple and easy. Let me take off this little piece of dirt here. And I'll put that off to the side. Now I'm going to roll this clay out one more time. Okay. So I'm going to take my big one. Let me just cut out my heart. Put that off to the side. And then I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to roll this out on my thickest setting now. Okay, so you can see how thick that clay is now. You want your piece to be thick. And I'm going to take my purple roller. And I want my photo to really pop. That's why I made it real thick. And then I'm going to take my blade here and I'm going to start kind of trimming this. So let's take this bird here and I just want to kind of trim little sections off. There we go. And I want it to be messy looking, if that makes sense. So can you see how it's kind of torn up there? There we go. Now take your heart. If you have any bubbles, pop them now because that will show up after you bake it. And then I'm going to take my pieces that I shaved, and I'm going to start placing them on my heart. And don't worry about if it's perfect or not. You want this to kind of just be a fun piece. You'll see I'm going to tear this one because I don't want it to be exact. I want it to be rough looking. And let's put another little bird down here. I don't like that one. It's too thick. Let's go with this one. And I'm going to take my cutter one more time. Recut to get all my edges nice and clean. And that's what we have. So I really love that look. I think it's going to give us a fun little antique look. My next step is to get my dotting tool. And you can use any dotting tool that you have. Just make sure it has a small tip. And then for one of them, it doesn't matter which one. I like the one that's kind of popped out. I'm going to just start putting some dots around to give it some texture. I love playing around and just adding texture to my pieces. Okay, so very simple on that one as well. I'll show you. So just by adding those little dots in there, it gives it a really pretty texture. And when we do our highlights of this, that's going to really kind of pop out. So it may not look like it's a big deal now, but when we highlight everything after it's baked, you'll really see why it's important to texture things. So this one, what do I want to do with this one? Let me think. This one we are just going to add a few little gemstones. And I think I'm going to go with, let's go with some gold. Like a gold yellow. I think that would look really pretty with the antique style that I'm going to go with. So I have my wax tip here. If your wax tip starts kind of giving you trouble, just shave off the very tip of it and it'll start working again. So let me just start adding some detail here. All right, so I have all my little gems on that I want to do. The next thing I'm going to do is go in with my dotting tool again, and I'm going to texture the inside of this heart. The other one I did the whole outside. This one I'm just going to do the inside. All right, let me lift this one up to show you. So that is what I have so far. And this one, I feel like I need to do something with it. I'm not sure yet. I almost feel like I want to put some stamps into it as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more texture. Let me see. Let me take an old piece of clay here, and I just want to kind of see what each one of these stamps do again, so I could kind of get an idea of what I want. All right, so this one I definitely want to do around the edging, just to give it a little bit more texture there. And you'll take notice that I'm not doing anything to be precise. This particular piece is supposed to be more like a messy, fun, torn up looking piece. And I do like this little flower one. So I'm going to kind of mark little flowers everywhere. I just really want this to be a fun piece, almost like a scrapbook paper. And And I think when we highlight it, it's really going to pop and just look neat. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now, I want to put my holes into my pieces for my ribbon. And I'm going to do a little bit bigger hole than I normally would do. So about that hole is what I am going to do. I'm going to go right in the middle. And, oh, this one's so close to the bird's beak. How do I want to do that? Maybe I could go down a little bit further. Yeah, there we go. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Just go down a little bit further so I don't cut off the beak. I want these particular pieces to have a little bit of shape to them when they come out. So I'm going to bake them right on my metal bowl. And just take and press them on. You want to make sure no air is underneath your piece. It's very important not to have air underneath. And don't worry about if you get a little bit of dirt when we highlight everything. That'll cover it all up. All right, so now bake this at your recommended time and temperature of your clay. And then when mine are all out of the oven and cooled off, I will be back. All right, guys, so my pieces are out of the oven. I did my other two already, so I'm going to show you exactly what I did, but I'm going to save those for the very end to show you exactly what I did with each one. So this one is the one that we will be working on, and what you are going to want is your stone tone wash. Okay, so this is the Army Painter's Quick Shade. I love this stuff. If you do not have something like this, you can use brown paint. So all you are going to do is put this over, get your paintbrush, and start basically painting it on. And this is going to give us a beautiful tone. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous tone. It takes a little bit to dry, you know, probably like 5-10 minutes total. But it is going to give you such a beautiful tone to your piece and really kind of give it a gorgeous antique look. This is going to highlight all our little pieces here. I have a hair here. Where is that? I can see it. There we go. Did I get it all? So go over the front and the back. Give it a beautiful quick brush. The back doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to see it anyway. But I always like to kind of finish off the back anyway. Okay. Now I'm going to let this completely air dry. If you use like a heat gun or something, you see how our piece has that like dome? So if you put a heat gun on it to dry it faster, your dome will disappear. Your piece will flatten out. So you want to just let it dry on its own. So I'm going to give this about 5-10 minutes and then I will show you the next step. So 99% of my piece is dry. You'll see there's a little bit of wet spots, but I'm okay with that. I can still work and continue through. So the next thing I want is my metallic rub-on paints. And I'm going to do a blend of colors. So first I'm going to take my like maroon red and I want to go over all my edges. Oh, and make sure you sand your piece when it's out of the oven if it needs to be sanded. So go over your sides. Get your sides real pretty. And then kind of start coming over to the front. I love this because it's kind of like country style, and to me it's antique-y, but you know, you're kind of making it look old, but I might be wrong on what it's actually called, but I call it antiquing. So now I'm taking my bronze, I'm mixing my stuff up, and let's get a little bit of gold. And you'll see, I'm just going to kind of start wiping it in different areas. I'm even going to get a little green here. I love mixing my colors all together, blending them really, really nicely. And then I also take a little bit of my acrylic paint here. This is Snow White. It's the chalk paint. And I just dab my finger in the lid, and then I am just going to do different areas. And then I take, where are you? Oh, right here. And I take my stiffer bristle, and then I start blending it. And this is going to kind of give me a more lighter blend. And I don't want to go over the entire thing, just certain areas. And then let me get a little bit of my blue and then blend that. And you'll see I'm adding colors. And you'll be surprised on how beautiful these colors all blend together. And let's get a little bit more red. Let's get this red. Kind of take your time and with your blending and really just have fun with it, because if you just slap it on there and don't really blend throughout the piece, it doesn't look as nice as it can. All right, so now you can see all those colors are blended beautiful. Now I want to kind of make this pop a little bit. So what I am going to do is get my gold, get that really good on my finger, and then just start kind of highlighting some of my areas. Not all of it. You just want certain areas to be highlighted. You could do silver, you know, let's try the silver. You know, it all depends on what you really want. Highlight it, how you want it to pop. You know, have some fun with your piece. And then see, I mean, beautiful. I mean, you could really have a lot of fun just playing around with your piece. If you don't like something, you could kind of just wipe it off, which is super nice. And I'm going to put a little bit of silver there. Okay. All right, so next we're going to get our twine here. Put in our hole. And you could do the back with wax as well if you want. I'm not going to. Tie a knot at the top. And then I like to take a smaller piece and I'm just going to make a tiny little bow. Okay. And then I have some different fake flowers here. So I like to take some of the smaller ones. Take the smaller ones at the bottom here. And then I have my real flowers right here. I'm going to cut these short. All right. Then I'm going to take my twine here. I'm going to hold it down just like that, so it's kind of like flat. Get my little finger thing here. So hold that down. And take my glue gun. Put a little bit on there. Take my first purple one. And that will help flatten your twine out, all right? And then I'm going to kind of just go right in the line here and start putting some of my red ones on. I don't need a lot of red, just want a little bit. I actually think that's plenty. I don't need too many. Oops. Uh-oh. Let's get this to stop moving on me. Oh, these little strings. And then lastly, I'll go right in the middle. Put a nice glob. And I put my bow right in the middle. Hold it down. And there we go. So now I will seal this after the wax completely kind of dries. It'll take a little bit for it to dry, but I will end up sealing it. I did these two as well. And I did it exactly the same. So once you put the seal on, it kind of blends beautifully together. But look how gorgeous these are. And the seal that I used was the Sculpey Gloss Glaze. So let that dry a little bit. Put your gloss glaze on, and then you're good to go. And then you will have these gorgeous heart ornaments. I really hope that you enjoyed creating these pieces with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all next time. Bye.